Yeah?
Storage full.
Storage full.
Yes.
Yosef.
Doing here.
ברוך השם.
Yes.
הכל לטובה, גם זו לטובה. No problem. So, we're speaking today about the reward in this world and the next world. Okay? This is the subject matter. And we basically finished yesterday with speaking about the reward of the next world. And we said that this is have two parts. The world of the neshamot, the souls, and in the time of the resurrection of the dead, Tchiyat HaMetim. So I'm continuing from the same place that we left off yesterday. גמול עולם הבא, שכפי מעשיו שעשה בעולם הזה, כן תיקבע לו מדרגה בטובה האמיתית, שהוא הדבקות בו יתברך. והנה בא לנצח נצחים. So we were discussing that yesterday, that the real benefit, the real reward that Hashem is giving is that the person have in the world to come a certain level of intimacy with Hashem. And this intimacy is what gives the person the value of whatever he did in this world. So it says, גם הוא יתחלק לשני חלקים, בעולם הנשמות ובעולם התחייה. That will also split to those two parts, in the world of the neshemot and the world of the resurrection. And then we get to speak about the reward of this world. What is the reward of this world? Maybe you don't mind to sit there.
Over here?
What is the reward of this world? Basically, it is about to be successful in this world or to fail in this world. In other words, when a person is asking why he didn't succeed to do something, or the opposite, why he did succeed, it has to do with reward of this world. Now, the problem is that even though we know it's true, but sometimes it seems the opposite. Sometimes it looks as if the wicked people are more successful, and the righteous people, in the values of this world of success, health, money, so on, God forbid, they are failures. So what's the reason for that? So really, it's a very, very ancient question that was asked for all of the generations. And the Gemara is referring to that. And let's summarize the Gemara, even though I think most of the people know this Gemara, but let's summarize it again. So the Gemara is saying that we have 5 different people in this world. Okay, the whole world divides to 5 kinds of people. Let's start with the positive. Okay, total righteous person. That's obviously very, very unique. I don't know how many people are like that, how many total righteous people we have, but this is something very, very special. Okay, very, very unique. Total righteous. Then we have tzaddik she'eino gamur, righteous person that is not completely righteous, that is still working on himself. So he is righteous, he is doing good spiritually, but there is something that is not completed yet. So, as far as I understand, most of the people that we refer to them as righteous people is the righteous people that are not completed righteous people. Okay. Then we have in the middle we have Beinoni, which is a person that is struggling with his lust and desires, but is taking over, is controlling himself, even though he have the lust for to do whatever it is, but he's controlling himself, he's not doing whatever it is. Then we have the people that are not controlling their lust and desire, but they have some righteousness to them, meaning they're not completely wicked people. They're just following the lust and desires, which is probably the majority of this world, right? So that's called Rasha Sheino Gamur, wicked person that is not completely wicked. And then in the bottom we have the totally wicked people that are very, very rare, like the total righteous are very rare, also the total wicked are very rare. And those people, they have no conscience, they have no righteousness to them, they just trying to serve the negative side as much as they can, basically. Okay? Now, within those 5 kinds of people, whoever is totally righteous, then he have all of the success that he needs, but really doesn't need almost anything, right? Someone that is really, really righteous, he doesn't care about anything that is physical. If Hashem gives him, okay. If Hashem doesn't give him, no problem. That's whatever Hashem gives him it's the best for him. He doesn't ask for anything. He doesn't ask for a wife, doesn't ask for children, doesn't ask for money. He's just doing his job, and Hashem is giving him whatever he needs according to his tikkun, and that's it. Okay? So even though to us maybe it seems like as if he's not successful, but he is successful. Why? Because he have all what he needs. A person that have all what he needs, it means he's successful, right? You don't have to have a big figure in your bank account to be successful. Most of the people with a big figure in their bank account, they are not happy and they don't have what they need. They're missing a lot, right? So whoever have what he needs, that's the real success. Okay, now the second level, which is righteous people that are not completed, so they don't have all what they need. They are missing something. Maybe they're missing a lot. Why they are missing something? Health, financial, whatever it is, wife, children, or the children are not behaving, all of those different stories. Something is wrong with their life. They're not completed. Why? Because they're not completely righteous. So the way that Hashem is taking the yoke of the sin off them is by giving them some kind of affliction. Okay? So the principle is that because Hashem doesn't want to punish them in the world to come, it gives them affliction in this world. This is the concept of tzaddik veralo. Righteous person that he seems to be miserable. Doesn't have to be with all of the aspects of his life, but there's a certain aspect in his life that he himself looks on himself or other people looks on him, and he's miserable in that aspect in his life for whatever it is. Okay, obviously it's not for us to judge. We shouldn't look on someone and say, this person is lacking this or lacking that because he is not completely righteous and is doing something wrong. Okay, it's the calculation for Hashem. We have to leave those things to Hashem. Hashem knows how to manage his world, how to do all of those calculations. Leave it to him. But this is the principle. Okay? Now, the middle people that are equal, good and bad, but they are taking over their lust and desire, so they're living according to the Torah, even though they have lust to go over and to cross over and to do other things, but they are controlling themselves. So this is called Beinoni, middle person. So then the success or the failure, it depends in other factors. It's not so simple to make this calculation. Okay? Then the next level down of the wicked person that is not completely wicked, so he is very successful. This is the majority of the successful people in this world. The majority of them is coming into this category. So when we look on people and we say, this person is a wicked person, but he's successful. So how come Hashem doesn't see the wrong things he does? How can it be that Hashem gives him success? What's the answer? The answer is that because he is not completely wicked, that's why he have this success. So instead of giving him the payment in the world to come, he's getting his reward here. Okay? That's called Meshalem Leson'av al panav la'avido. Hashem is paying for the ones that hates him right now in this world, and this is their punishment. Because they have something righteousness within them, so they should have some reward for the good deeds that they do. But because they are wicked people, so it's not proper for them to be within the group of the tzaddikim, the world to come. So you can't give them the share in the world to come. So they're getting their reward in this world, by success in this world. Okay? This is the majority of the people in this world, like I said. And then we have the most wicked people, that they are really, really miserable. They don't have anything. They don't have this world, they don't have the next world, they don't have anything. Okay? There's nothing to give them reward for, because they have nothing, they have no good deeds. They're not doing anything good. So the people that are middle wicked people, that they are continuing in their way and they are getting to be totally wicked, this is called, there's a concept that is called nitmela sa'atam. Yeah? Right? David?
What's that?
Nitmala sa'atam is that the capacity have been filled. So now they cannot receive more goodness. They have filled the capacity of sins, and then they're getting their punishment. Right? For example, the people of Sodom. For example, yeah? There's many examples. Every time we see that Hashem is punishing someone wicked in a very, very harsh way, basically this is what's happening. That the capacity of sins have been fulfilled, and now is getting all of the punishment for all of the time that he was wicked from the beginning. Okay. So basically this is the overview, and what I said now is according to the Gemara in Masechet Brachot. And now, if we understand this principle, so we can understand why is it that we see some people that are righteous, that are in misery in their life, and some people that are wicked, that they have success in their life. Right? Good. So now we got that clear. This is about the success in this world. Now, obviously, many people have this question of, I want to be righteous, but I want also to be successful in this world. I don't want to be a failure, right? And okay, so what's the advice? To be completely righteous? I'm not there. I would like to be a completely righteous, but I'm not there yet. Bezrat Hashem, maybe in the future, but what about tomorrow? I want to eat. I need to get married. I need all of those things. So what's going to be with me? So these are fair questions. Fair questions. And there's many answers today to this question. It's not one answer. There's many advices. But the most simple advice for this situation, which is obviously very common, is we're praying to Hashem. We're praying to Hashem, and we're not saying, because I'm a righteous person, I deserve this and that. Because I'm doing so good and I'm doing this great mitzvah that I'm involved with, whatever it is, so Hashem, give me this and give me that. No. a person have to know that really according to the laws, according to the rules of the system, he should not get anything because it's not completely righteous. How can you ask for something if you're not doing what Hashem is commanding you, right? Sometimes the children, my children are asking me for something. I tell them, first you do whatever I tell you to do, then come to me and ask whatever you want. If you're not doing what I'm telling you to do, so how can you ask me to do all kinds of favors that you want me to do for you? Right? So it's the same thing about the relationship with Hashem. We cannot come with demands, but we can ask לפנים משורת הדין. We can ask in a way that it is, even though I'm not worthy, and I'm not supposed to get it according to the rules, but I'm asking Hashem, please help me, do me a favor. I don't deserve it, but I need you, right? So if a person is coming with pleasing Hashem and asking Hashem with humility, not as a demand, then there's a good chance that Hashem is answering the person's prayers. And in Breslev they say even more than that, as if Hashem must answer. If you praying in the right way, Hashem must answer. But it might be that you didn't pray enough. So if you're praying for something and it didn't happen yet, so it means you didn't pray enough for that. So keep on praying, and when the time will come that you prayed the right amount of prayers, then you get your salvation, whatever it is that you need. Okay? And there's many stories about it. I'm sure that many of you heard many of them. But basically this is the principle. Okay? Now, after we got that clear, now, again, maybe I'll give another few solutions. Except of praying, there is another few solutions. One of the issues that many people are involved with, that I want to refer, is all kinds of sgulot. Okay? So sgulot is a very big world. There's an ocean of sgulot. There's many kinds of sgulot. Okay? There's some people in the Jewish world that this is their expertise. You come to them with a problem, and they give you a whole list of different sgulot, what to do, this and that, all kinds of things, in this situation, that situation. Okay? Sometimes a person is trying all of the sgulot and nothing works. Okay? So the sgulot is not a way to bypass Hashem. I think that the reason that sometimes it doesn't work is because someone he thinks I can trick Hashem instead of making myself humble and asking Hashem with the right way, with the right approach. I will bypass Hashem and skip him and do all kinds of tricks. Try to take some sgulot in my pockets, in this, that, all kinds of places, and then I will be successful. Okay? So, maybe if it would have been a human being, whatever it is, maybe it would have worked. But when Hashem, talking about Hashem, so obviously nothing can bypass Hashem. Right? It's a nonsense to think about something like this. So a person that he thinks that he can do something to bypass Hashem, so then obviously it will be a failure. The Sgula wouldn't work. Okay? So the first thing is to know our place. Our place is to ask Hashem. That's what he wants. The reason that the person is in a trouble, that he needs the help, is because Hashem wants him to pray. So you cannot bypass Hashem. You have to make yourself humble and to pray. Okay? Then you can add, except of the prayer, also to add sgulot. Okay? Now, when you're looking in different sgulot, the first thing you have to ask is, what is the source? What is the source of the sgula that you're dealing with? There's many sgulot that I wouldn't recommend. Okay? I'm not going to go all through the list, but there's many sgulot I would not recommend. Some sgulot, it is in the border of witchcraft. Okay? So, you have to know what is it you're dealing with, And who is the righteous person? Who is the rabbi that gave this gula originally? Okay? Some sgulot you don't know what's the source of them. Many sgulot. There's books and books of sgulot, and most of them you don't have the source of them. Okay, there's one rabbi in Bnei Brak that he decided that he's going to go through all of the sgulot and to look for the sources of all of the sgulot, and he said that many of them are really coming from not from the Jewish world, from all kinds of Christians and idol worshipping and all kinds of paganism. So the fact that someone is telling you that there is a sgula like that and it's good sgula and it works, it's not enough. Okay, you have to know that a big rabbi, a big righteous person, have approved this sgula. Otherwise, I would recommend don't use it. Okay, and even when you're using some sgula that you have a good recommendation for, even then, remember that it's only a backup. But the main work that we have to do is to pray to Hashem. Good. Now, after we have those 2 points clear, the last solution I want to offer is the concept of tikkun. Okay? In the world of the Kabbalah, the yeshivot of Mekubalim, there's many people that are involved with all kinds of tikkun. Also here, we did few, but Hashem will do more. What is the idea of different tikkunim? So, first of all, let's think about the system. What happened? A person did a sin, and now the sin in this world is affecting in a certain way in the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, it created a certain reaction. Okay? There's a certain reaction. So let's give it an example of how do you say that? איכות הסביבה. Environmental conscious. Okay, let's use this parable. If someone have certain factory that is not going according to the laws of the environment rules, so they made they opened a certain pipe of some chemical liquid, and it went into the sea, for example. Okay, now you have a pool of this acid in the sea, and it creates a reaction, right? There's fishes that coming there and eats it, and then they become to be poisonous, and then other people are eating them, and then the people are getting poisoned, right? There's a chain reaction that from one mistake of someone in the factory that he pushed the wrong button, it made a whole chain reaction that many people can suffer from that, right? So the environment people, what they do? They do tikkun, right? What is the tikkun? They send a boat there to suck out the acid from the sea, to put it in a tank, and they clean the ocean. They put it through a filter. Maybe I don't know exactly what they do. It's not my expertise, but they're doing some kind of tikkun, and they solve the problem, right? That's basically the idea. So now let's go back to the spiritual. The person that he did the sin, it made a certain problem in the spiritual world. Okay, that becomes to be a cause, a reason that will have other causes that are affected by. Okay, because one person did a sin, so he's affecting himself, affecting other people. Many people can suffer from that. So what we want to do? We want to do tikkun. So we need to create something that will be stronger than the negative thing that he did. Okay? To make something positive that will be stronger from the negative thing he did. So let's say, as if we can give those things numbers. Okay, there's no numbers for that. But let's say the person did something wrong in a degree of 700 points. Whatever that means. Now we need to do something that will be in this amount of 700 points or more, with the intention to do tikkun for this specific thing, right? And obviously there's a whole writings of the Arizal and other Mekubalim of how to do different tikkunim. There's all kinds of meditations that goes with it, fast days, or all kinds of actions that are kavanot, whatever it is. There's I just give you one example that people will understand it a little bit about what I mean. One student of the Arizal, he had a problem that he was whatever. I don't want to speak about the problem, but he had a problem. Okay, he did some sin, very, very severe, serious sin, and the Arizal gave him tikkun. What was the tikkun? He told him, in Yom Kippur, you have to buy the opening of the Aron Kodesh. Okay? And whatever money you need to spend on it, don't hesitate. Whatever money it will cost you, give it with full heart, and that will be your tikkun. Okay? For example, other people, he gave them certain amounts of fast days. Other people, he gave them some meditations to practice every day within the prayer. All kinds of tikkunim. Okay? So, someone that is involved with Kabbalah in those levels of the advanced meditations of Sharuch HaKodesh, it's not so simple, but it's possible to follow this way. Okay? Someone that is really involved with it, I just give you one example, okay? For something that is very, very hard to fix. Someone that, God forbid, he did a sin that he had relationship with married woman. Okay? Isur Eshet Ish. This is one of the most severe sins. And so just the fast days, I'm not talking now about the meditations and other things, just the fast days is 325 fast days. Okay? 325 fast days. Imagine yourself. It's like if you will fast a whole year, every day that you are allowed to fast, meaning without Shabbat, without Rosh Chodesh, without holidays, and so on, I'm not sure if you complete the 325 days. Yeah, it will have to be more than a year. So it's a lot of fast days, right? But that's not enough because it's so severe. There's a whole set of meditations and many articles of Zohar and different things that you have to go through to do the tikkun for this. Okay? Not you, someone, whoever you have this problem. Okay? So this is an example of something because it is such a negative effect, it's so strong, so the tikkun is it have to be something also very strong. So many fast days, and even that is not enough. The person have to do all kinds of other things to that the tikkun will be effective. Okay? So Bezrat Hashem, whoever is reading the newsletters that I'm sending, so in this period of time of the Shovavim, heard about a little bit about tikkunim, and like I explained now, there's much more than that, and according to the different sins, there's different tikkunim. Okay, there's many tikkunim in different opportunities. Bezrat Hashem, I'm trying to let people know about those possibilities because that's part of the benefit that people can have from study of Kabbalah, to know how to do those tikkunim. And once again, I want to say also about the tikkunim. Okay, like the sgulot, it's not a bypass. Okay, it's not instead of doing tshuva. A person that he did, for example, this sin of living with a married woman, and then, yeah, okay, Hashem, I understand I have to do tikkun for that, and he's doing all the fast days, and he's doing the meditations, and he's reading all of the articles, but he's not doing tshuva, so it's not enough, right? The first step is to do proper tshuva, to regret what the person did, right? That's the first thing. Then afterwards you add more and more and more. But if someone he doesn't have the foundation, so there's no building. So all of what he did, I wouldn't say it's useless, but it's not the right way. Good. So now after we got that clear, now we can move on. Okay, we finished with this world. Now we're going back to the world to come. We're going back to spirituality. So the Ramchal says, עיקר השכר באמת הוא הטובה האמיתית שיזכו בצדיקים לעתיד לבוא. The real reward is future to come. Okay, even though everybody wants to have also success in this world, almost everybody. There's some righteous people that they don't care, like I said. But most of the people, they want to be also successful in this world. But we have to know that really the reward for the mitzvot is not in this world. right? I heard this example once. I think I said it in this view, but I'll say it again. Someone that comes in to the bus, and in his pocket he have only $500 bills. Doesn't have less than that. He wants to pay for a ticket. The driver says, I cannot receive it. I'm not dealing with like $500 bills. So the person says, so what should I do? So, I don't know. You have to give me change. You have to give me like normal money that I can deal with. So the person even though he have pocket that is full of $500 bills, he goes around the bus and is asking for tzedakah, for some charity, that people will give him some coins that he can drive the bus. His pocket is full of dollars, $500 bills. It doesn't help, right? What is the nimshal? What is the idea? That we are here in this world, we're doing one mitzvah. There's no way to pay in this world to whatever we want to receive with mitzvot, because the mitzvot is too big. In this world we need change, we need we need small money, right? So this world cannot take the reward of the mitzvot. So a person, even though he have a whole bag full of mitzvot on his back, but you have to go and to ask for some charity to be able to buy something to eat. But what about all of my mitzvot? Mitzvot is good. We'll wait for you in the world to come. When you go back to the States, you can you can enjoy those dollars. Okay. Now forget about the States because it's not a good example. We want to speak about the world to come. Now, again, what is the reward of the righteous people in the world to come? So like we said, the intimacy with Hashem, right? So again, we don't know what it means. We don't know how it works. Our understanding in those things is very, very limited, to say the least. Oh! Baruch Hashem, good catch. A couple of days ago was enough. Okay? Good. Without taking from anyone reward. Now, what about the punishment of the world to come? Okay? So people know this concept of hell. And in the different books, we have all kinds of allegories and ways of saying about the pain and the suffering of hell, of the punishment of the world to come. Now, obviously, all of those things that we say is things according to physical, right? When we're speaking about the fire and the heat and this and all kinds of things like that, that description of hell is things that we don't really can refer to something that is spiritual. What is the meaning of heat and cold when you're talking about something that have no body, doesn't have physical body, right? So all of those things, I'm not saying it's not true, but to take them literally, it's a little bit childish, okay? So if we define the reward of the world to come as intimacy, to be close with Hashem, obviously the punishment is the opposite, okay? Someone that is very, very distant from Hashem. So the punishment of the wicked people in the world to come is that the result of their actions is that they made themselves to be very, very far from Hashem. Okay? Somebody might say, I don't care about being far, being close. I just want to enjoy this world. To be far in the next world, I don't know what it means. So I will do whatever I want. So for a person like that, so they tell him, okay, so you're going to be burned and this and that, and the heat is like that, and the fire is like that, and all kinds of descriptions of the hell. Okay, so because the person is acting like a child, so we treat him like a child, and we give him these explanations. And again, I'm not saying it's not true, but it's not only that. The main part is the that the person is distant from Hashem. And this is really suffering that we cannot understand. We cannot understand what does it mean for a neshama to be far away from Hashem. But we can give a certain way of looking at it. Anyone that saw a child, a little child, that needs to be in the school or in preschool, and he doesn't want to be there. He wants to be with his mom and dad. Did you see something like that in the past?
He doesn't what?
He doesn't want to be in the school. He wants to be with his parents.
Have I seen? Yeah, always.
Yeah, happening all the time, right?
Yes.
You see the way they're crying? Right? They're fighting with all what they have, all the strength they have. They're fighting. They're ready to break that if they could. They don't have the physical capability, but if they could, they would have break the principle. Break everybody bones, break the gate, and just run and go back home. Right? They are in pain. Why? Because they are far away from their parent. They want to connect with their parent. Right? So it obviously it is something. It's not the real understanding. But if you think about this, and you go into the mind of this child, and you think about the pain that he has, he doesn't understand that it's a very short time, and the end of the day he's going to go back to his parent. For him, this moment is now eternity. If he's not with his parent right now, it means that's it. He's not with his parent for eternity. So for him, the pain is very, very great. The fear is very, very big, right? So if we think about this and we go back to have some kind of understanding, what does it mean for the neshama to be far away from Hashem? To be in this place that is called hell, whatever that means, Gehenom. So we can have some kind of understanding. Some kind of understanding. Okay? Obviously, it is much, much greater than that. But it can give us some kind of understanding. I can give even a little bit another example, which I'm not sure if it's better or worse, but if you look on an animal that is captured in a trap. So I'm sure you heard about those stories about different animals that they ate their hand that was like caught in the trap to be able to run away. Right? They were ready to accept on them the pain.
Animal you're talking about?
Yeah, animal.
One guy did that.
What? I'm sure that also human beings, but I'm talking about animals.
I know. Yeah, it's a
The
normal
point
thing.
is that for any part of creation, when it gets to a state that for his understanding, this is it, is going to be locked in this position, and that's it. It's there. There's nothing for him to do about it. He's ready to do anything that he could, if he can, to run away from this position, right? And someone that is in this place of Gehenom, hell, there's nothing to do until the time passes, and then it goes on. Now, to give comfort and to be positive, I want to tell you that really hell is not such a terrible possibility. Why? Because really it is temporary. Even though for those that are there, it feels like eternity, but we know that it is very temporary. There is very, very unique wicked people that they are stuck in hell. Okay? But for the majority of the wicked people, to be in hell is a privilege. Because it's like going through a laundry machine, and they go out of the hell, they are clean. So they are cleaning their sins, and then they can move on to the positive of heaven. So the truth is that hell is a good position. To come back in reincarnation is worse than hell. Okay? And to be stuck in whatever they call in the world limbo, that in the Torah it's called kafakela, it's the worst. Okay? So let's go over it again. The worst punishment, kafakela, which is like a spirit that doesn't have anywhere to go, doesn't have a physical body, but it's not in heaven, it's not in hell, so it's stuck. This is the worst. A little bit easier is to come in incarnation. Also, incarnation is very complicated. There's incarnation in minerals, in plantations, in animals. There's different levels of punishments in this box of incarnation. But this is the second level. Then, a person that he have the privilege to go to hell, to get clean, to be able to go to heaven afterwards. Okay? And basically this is all of the people except of the completely righteous people. So if you remember the point that we started with in the beginning of the class, so we gave 5 kinds of people. So all of those, they have one of those punishments to complete themselves. Okay? And only the completely righteous people that I said that it's very, very rare, and I want to know that I know some people like that. I want to believe that some of the people that I know they're in that box of the completely righteous people, but no one knows. No one can say. I cannot say anyhow. But Bezrat Hashem, I hope for them that they are in that box. And then someone like that, so he can go to heaven without having to have any trouble. But really, those righteous people, the truth is that they don't want to go to heaven. Why? Because they are so righteous, they don't want to have pleasure for themselves. So they want to use their strength to help other people. So they are ready to come back to this world to teach and to give their light and to reveal more light of Hashem. That's one of them that we know of, is the Arizal, that he told Rav Chaim Vital, I came to this world to teach you. Meaning, he didn't come for himself, he didn't have tikkun for himself. He came to this world to teach the Malchum, Rabbi Chaim Vital. Okay?
Is that elevating his neshama a lot higher now? Or like that he,
Obviously.
that now that when he goes back to the next world, he gets a higher level.
For sure. Good. So, I think we'll stop here. We gave a big summary of the many important subject matters. And now, let's speak about Shabbat again, with the Siddur of Zichron David. We spoke yesterday about Musaf. And really, we can move on to the second meal of Shabbat. The rest of the Shacharit is like to the end of Musaf. And Aleinu L'Shabach is like we spoke about them in the weekday Shacharit, basically, but it has the extra meaning because it's Shabbat. Okay, so the same thing, but in a higher level, like we said. Now a person goes back to his house and do the second meal. Now I want to say something, and I don't want to get people angry. I'm sorry that I'm saying that, but I have to say that. This is about this custom of doing the Kiddush after Shacharit of Shabbat. Obviously, it's nice. Everybody likes it. Some people, they coming JFK. You know what is JFK? Just for Kiddush. I heard it from my friend Simon. So, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do, because after all, the idea, the principle is that the people will hear some Torah to listen to the shiur, but because people are very, very hungry after the long prayer, they didn't eat anything since they wake up, supposedly, I hope so, that they didn't eat before praying. So then, they are very hungry, so they need to eat something to be able to have patience, to be calm, to be able to listen to the words of the Torah of the rabbi. The problem is that many people, they are carrying on and keep on eating more and more of the cakes and the chunt, whatever it is that they're serving in the Kiddush, and then they are not hungry for the second meal of Shabbat. Okay? So this is a real problem, because the second meal of Shabbat is a real need. Okay? Halachically, and according to the Kabbalah, it has a great, great meaning. So if someone he ate like a whole tray of cakes, and it is not washing for bread afterwards when he's going home, so it's a big loss. Okay? It's a big loss. So I want to say in this opportunity that I recommend as much as possible. Anyhow, usually those cakes are not healthy, but even if you have like something healthy, try to keep it the minimum amount that you need. Okay? And if you know yourself that you won't be able to eat afterwards, so don't eat anything in the Kiddush. Okay? Some people, they're not eating in the Kiddush because they know that afterwards they won't be able to eat the meal. So they wait for their house, even though it's hard, to see everybody are eating and to stay out of it. It's a little bit like fasting. Maybe it's good in this aspect of doing tikkun, but we're not doing tikkunim in Shabbat. Anyhow, you have to go home, do kiddush, and wash for bread. Okay? When a person doesn't do that, so he's missing a whole section of spirituality. So I'll explain it again. I said it before, I want everybody to be with me. So we have the meals of Shabbat that are completing the prayers of Shabbat. So when we're going home in the night, whatever we did in Arvit, in the internal side of the world, the spiritual world, when we're going home and we're doing the meal, we're doing the same thing in the external side of the spiritual world. Okay? In the same way, Shacharit and Musaf, that we spoke so much about, that it's such a high level, if someone is not doing the meal of Shabbat morning, is missing the whole lot of Shacharit and Musaf in the external side of the spiritual world. Okay? It's a big section. It's a lot to miss. It's not something that is easy. Okay? It's like I'm telling you, listen, if you not do that, you're going to get half a salary. Half a paycheck. No one wants to have his paycheck cut to half, right? So, now think about that is internal mode. For sure you don't want it. So, make an effort to do whatever it needs to do the Kiddush and to eat at least kazait before midday. Okay? So you look in the board whenever it's midday, and you have to push yourself to eat at least kazait of bread after washing before midday. Okay?
Does the snacks take care of that or no?
No. Yeah, it has to be a meal.
Oh,
Okay? Look, but yeah, but if someone like for some reason couldn't this, whatever they, I'm not speaking about like situations that a person is forced into this position. But lechatchila, when a person is planning his day, his schedule, whatever it is, you have to make sure that you do kiddush in the time that you can wash for bread and eat kazait of bread before midday. Okay? Try to do it. It has a lot of meaning.
Also, can I suggest that sometimes if people overeat, even if they do wash, but they lose their appetite.
Okay, for sure. That's what I'm saying.
They don't have the same.
That's what I'm saying. That the mitzvah to eat the meals of Shabbat is to eat it with pleasure, to enjoy it. If a person is stuffed and is forcing himself to eat the kazait of bread because he listened to this class and he knows that it has meaning, it has meaning, but it's not. He lost a little bit of the whole thing. So the idea is to have the second meal that it will be joyful and enjoyment. And by the way, one idea that I can suggest is in the kiddush, wash. Yeah, wash in the kiddush. If you know yourself that this is your meal, and afterwards you won't have appetite, so wash. Even though there's only crackers and biscuits and cakes and whatever it is, you can wash for it. You can take a piece of cracker, a piece of cake, say amotzi lechem min haaretz, eat it, and that will be your meal. And afterwards, if you can go home and eat some chunt, and that's it. יוצא ידי חובה, go to sleep, wake up for mincha, בעזרת השם.
Doesn't he have to have a big amount of food in order to wash on crackers? Like, doesn't he have to have a certain shear?
Okay, I'm not. Okay, we got to that. So I'll complete the halachic subject of like to make mezonot to be a seudah, to be your meal. So there's some opinions that hold that you need to eat a whole lot of mezonot for that. Okay, and then according to that, that's really the approach of the Rav Ovadia Zatzal according to the Shulchan Aruch. So then you have to eat a whole lot of mezonot to be able to call it a meal, and then okay, I cannot argue with it because it's very, very big rabbis that said it, but I can say that there is another side, which is the halacha for Ashkenazim, and to my humble opinion also Sfaradim can follow this way because it has good sources in the halacha. Okay, when I looked into the sugya, and if you're eating a normal meal, you don't have to push in like a whole lot of cakes. You're eating some cakes, you're eating some salads, you're eating some whatever it is, and all together it joins that it's fulfilling. You ate a meal. So if you ate a meal, and the beginning of the meal was that you washed for bread and you said Amotzi lechem min haaretz on this cracker or piece of cake, you said you can say Birkat Hamazon. Okay, even though you didn't eat 4 kabeitza of mezonot. Okay, whoever is Chassid of Rav Ovadia and is following Rav Ovadia, okay, no problem, follow that. I'm not arguing, but I'm saying that there is a strong approach of following this. That even for Sfaradim, for sure for Ashkenazim. For Ashkenazim, it's much, much easier. There's no doubt person can wash. He's eating even kazait, just kazait of mezonot, and the rest of the meal is eating all whatever it is on the tables, fruits, vegetables, whatever it is, I don't know. If afterwards he's satisfied, he can say Birkat Hamazon. Okay, good. So we didn't get to speak so much about the kavanot of the second meal. And tomorrow we don't have a class, so I'll say another few words about this. The second meal of Shabbat, according to the Arizal, we are reaching a very, very, very high level spiritually. Okay. So when I read in the Zohar, when it speaks about this meal, it says, and those that are following this way, it's brought down in the Siddur, to say, Dai Seudata da Atika Kadisha. This is the meal of Atika Kadisha. Okay? So I'm not going to explain the whole explanation about what is Atika Kadisha, but let's just say that it is a very, very high spiritual level. So basically what we're saying in Aramaic is, this is the meal of this great level that is called Atika Kadisha. It's a very, very big issue, right? If I'm giving you a meal, I'm telling you this meal is the meal that was served for this king, whatever it is, right? So it means that it's a very, very important meal, right? So basically, I'm just emphasizing that it is very important. And if you look in the Siddur, also we wrote there a commentary on the song that the Arizal wrote for this meal. So it is in page 538 and 539. The whole explanation about the Kiddush of Shabbat. Then we have the second thing of the Mishnayot of Shabbat that I spoke about in the meal of the night, that there's a custom that some people are following to read every meal of Shabbat 8 chapters of Mishnayot. I know that for most of the people that are listening, also for me, it's a lot. It's not so easy. You have to really push it if you want to read the 8 chapters of Mishnayot. It's not so easy. Even if you know them and you're just reading them, it's a lot to read. So, but if someone is doing that every meal, so every Shabbat is going through all of the Mishnayot of Masechet Shabbat, which is a big thing. So if you can, it's good to do, and if not, something is also good. Don't think that if you cannot do everything, so you do nothing. You do whatever you can. And that's it. After the meal of Shabbat, after the second meal of Shabbat, the Arizal himself went to sleep. Okay? The Arizal himself went to sleep. The Chida says that just the Arizal, because he was in such a high level, so he had the ability to go to sleep in Shabbat. But for us, that we are not in such a high level, we should go back to the Beit Midrash and learn. Okay, that's the Chida. But my custom is to go to rest after the meal of Shabbat, and just make sure that you wake up in the right time, that you can have some learning before Mincha, and to pray Mincha properly with all of the kavanot that we're going to speak Bezrat Hashem Bli Neder next week. So Toda Rabba, and Shabbat Shalom, and all blessings for everybody.
Amen.
And Bezrat Hashem, see you Sunday.